Hello, just bring you back. Just doing a little bit more tinkering on the ride-on mower. Thanks to my viewers, Norfolk and Proud sent me a link. It's an MTD Lawn Flight 504. So that's brilliant information. I've looked it up, and you can still get spares and diagrams and all online. All the information you need is all out there still. So yeah, I really appreciate that information. Excellent stuff. Right, I've been doing a little bit of just some bits and pieces on it. I'm just basically going through the whole thing and doing whatever I can on a budget, really. I've had I managed to air up all the tyres properly. There's me thinking these would be like a real low pressure tyre, like just 2 or 3 psi. Actually 22 psi and 28 psi. They actually run quite high pressure. So I took the front wheels off. I had to get to the inner tube in one of them, I think it was this one, and turn the inner tube round so that the valve stem was sticking out. It ain't perfect, but I've managed to get air in it. Like I said, that one seems to doesn't have a tube in it, but it's holding air. And while I was at it, I've greased up the bearings. They're not really bearings, it's just a shaft, a sleeve in the middle of the wheel, and a washer and a split pin. So I've greased them all up. And while I was at it, I've greased up all the steering pinions. I've been round it all with WD-40 on bits and pieces. But what I'm going to do, I think, is get the whole thing up on 4 axle stands and go round all underneath and grease all of the pivots and, you know, all the moving parts and the pivots. I've taken off the big metal plate that was on the back, which is for the collection bag. I've taken it off so that I can get to all the bits easier, and I want to straighten out this bodywork. Now I've kept the plate that's back round at Gary's behind his shed, because if this thing ever gets sold, then the plate can go back on it, so that the next owner, if they want to buy a new or second-hand collection bag part for it, it's ready for them. And the bag itself, hang on, I'll show you. Right, yeah, the bag itself, it's actually the correct bag for it, having looked at the pictures on the internet. It's just full of holes. We were going to abandon this, but Amanda, Gary's wife, is really handy with the sewing, so she said she'll make a new bag for it out of some whatever canvas, so that's good. And so that's where I stashed the plate that holds the bag on. Yeah, before I go too mad, what I really want to do is fire it up and experiment with the height of the cutting deck, because our lawns are they are so bumpy. The ground around here, it's all sort of reddish clay, and it literally just moves all the time, and there's dips and dents everywhere. So what I want to do is experiment, fire it up, experiment with the cutting height. Here, this probably won't even show up on camera, but when I was just buzzing around yesterday with the cutting deck up, occasionally it would spring forward and the cutting deck would engage, and it's chopped the lawn, and it's basically way too low. It's because it's so bumpy. So I'm going to have an experiment with that, see if I can get a height that doesn't just chop the lawn every time it goes over a bump. It's on the highest. Having said all this, yesterday there was 15 psi in the tyres, so I'm guessing they were quite flat, and when I've done 22 and 28 it's actually raised the whole thing about an inch, so that might give me a little bit of room to experiment. So I'm gonna get it running, take it down the bottom where it doesn't matter, the ugly lawn, start on number 6 and then just work my way down, see what's a comfortable height. Before I do that I need to put the battery back in, and the battery is still at 12.4 volts. It's been on 24 hours this. I think my little trickle charger is not working, so that would normally bring this up. It's only half an amp trickle, but normally that would have gone to green by now. So yeah, I'm guessing that this was a real cheap one from, I can't even remember where I got it, but it was really cheap. So yeah, I'm going to put that back on it. I don't actually have another battery charger, a proper actual battery charger. So I'll probably, because I've always had lots of these trickle chargers mainly for the bikes, and I've got the power pack for starting, booster pack. My old 40-year-old 4 amp battery charger went in the bin years ago, so I think I'm going to have to get another one of them just for in case. Oh yeah, on the battery, it hasn't been charged. Gary hasn't touched this thing at all since he parked it 2, maybe 3 years ago. So that whatever battery, well, this is a deep cycle, it's like a wheelchair battery. It's never been changed or charged since he parked it. So there you go. Still got, I don't know what it should have in it voltage wise, but what I really need to do is when it's fired up, I need to get my multimeter on it and see if it's charging. Assuming this has got a charging circuit on it, I would have thought so with a battery. It's going to be interesting because I've got the terminals aren't, normally I'd when it's running I'd check on the battery terminals for voltage, so I'll have to maybe back probe these or something. Anyway, that's for later. Well, I was about to start getting like big long pry bars and things to try and lever this up, and then I figured, why don't I save my knackered body and use a machine to do it? So I don't think I've got this quite in the right place, but alright, I think a bit of adjustment on this. I'll just drop that on the floor. Figured if I go further I can always bash it down with a hammer. Right, that's a bit of banging. Later, it's coming together a bit. I need to just spend more time on this. Now this wheel arch, in fact the whole thing was sort of squashed down and out that way, so I've brought this back up, straightened this out, but this wheel arch is right on top of the tyre, so, and this section here is the whole section is bent down that way, so I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to try, I've got a bunch of these different chisels, so I think I'm just going to try chiseling more and more in to try and lift it up or something. Well, this is what I've come up with. I'm just basically using various wedges and things to bend it up, using the top of the tyre as leverage. So I can't really do it one-handed though. And some of that. Now I need to just go along it with a dolly and just flatten that out. Well, I think that'll do for now. It's a little bit straighter. Because this was all melted, I've just chopped the end off of this for now, but I'm gonna find somewhere to order an air filter and the top cover, because I don't mind just doing the whole thing on a budget and bodging it up, but obviously air filter engine needs to be done properly. I need to change the oil, probably get a new spark plug, and I will whip the carb off, go through it, clean it all out, put it back and set all the adjustments on that. And what else did I do? Hello. Made a home for a little beetle. This pedal, it was all loose. The foot pad was loose, so I sliced it off, cleaned it all up, put a load of black RTV in it, put the rubber back on, and then I've wrapped it in hockey stick tape, left it overnight, and it seems to be pretty well stuck on there. Sorry, Mr. Beetle wants to stay there. Not sure what flavour he is, but anyway. So that is that for now. I suppose every 5 minutes doing something requires another 10 minutes tidying up. Well, it seems to work fine. Just experimenting with it. I did all this with it on number 3. It's been skimming the top a little bit too much, so I've jacked it up to number 4 now. I've got a couple more lawns right down the bottom to do, so I'm going to do them on number 4 and see how they come out. It started okay on number 3, but like I said before, there's lots of slopes and it's just chopping off the tops, which I suppose in one respect is okay. If you want to level out your lawn, just keep chopping the tops off every week and eventually it'll all be flat. But yeah, there's quite a few bits here where it's just dug in from being too low. So I've raised it up one. I'm going to do the 2 bottom lawns and try the different heights. But yeah, it's okay. Probably taken me as long to use this as it is to do it by hand, just for the fact that because you can't get in every corner, you need to work yourself out a system of where to go. And the other thing is, what I've learnt is when I'm mowing this lawn, what I need to do is make sure I'm facing towards the garage each time I come up, because I didn't, and all the grass just went all over that and straight in the garage, obviously because there's no collection box on it. But yeah, that's okay, it's working. That's it, I'm going to finish it there. The front suspension has got tie rod ends on it, so then they're adjustable, and the front, what you would call kingpins on a car, even though they're just rods with split pins on these, I can see where they're worn into the front chassis rail, so I need to pull apart the front suspension, get some big washers or some metal plate, and just fill up the worn out holes so that the axles can sit more upright, so, and adjust the tie rod ends for the toe in, toe out. So yeah, it's all doable, it's all good fun. But for now, for today, I'm just going to mow the other 2 lawns with it and keep testing the height, and then stick it away. Probably order myself a little 4 amp battery charger as well. So peace and love, I'll be Sprungy. See you next time.